Paris attacks are just the latest in a series blamed on ISIS. Twin suicide bombs last week killed more than 40 people in Beirut. ISIS claimed responsibility for bringing down the Russian jetliner over Egypt, killing 224 people. Former CIA Deputy Director Mike Morell is with us. He is the CBS News senior security contributor. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me pick up on what Jeff said. ISIS has a global strategy. Is it possible, likely, that they'll come to the United States? A strategy, not a lone wolf.
Charlie, what we saw in Paris was a manifestation of a year-long effort by ISIS to build an attack capability in Western Europe. They said they were going to do that. They did that. They've also said they are going to do that here. So I do think it's a matter of time before they make that effort. And unless we degrade them, unless we push back on them, they will be successful.
Let me pick up on that. You told Nora over the weekend, our strategy to defeat them, degrade them, is simply not working. He said, no one wants to tell a president that the plan isn't working, but that is the case here. So the plan is not working. What does the president have to do in coordination with others who he's meeting with at the G20?
So I think what we have to do is we have to look at every aspect of how we defend ourselves against these guys and every aspect of how we go after them on the offense. On the defensive side, it's how do we screen these migrants, right, coming into Europe and coming into the United States, among other things. On the offensive side, we have to look at our rules of engagement, right? How much collateral are we going to accept in the fight against them? We have to look at how many troops are we willing to put on the ground, not to do the combat themselves, but to be on the front lines to advise and assist. To be on the front lines to call in airstrikes. We have to look at every aspect of this and ask ourselves, what do we need to change?
You heard Margaret Brennan reported a year-long strategy of bombing ISIS has not worked, and yet the short-term response to these attacks has been more airstrikes by the French.
Right. So it's obvious to me that the French had to do this right, politically more than anything. It's very clear, as you said, that a year of doing this has not changed the dynamic. So airstrikes alone are not going to work. One of the things that strikes me is if there were 20 targets yesterday for the French to hit, why weren't there 20 targets the day before for somebody else to hit?
But 10 months after Charlie Hebdo, where France was already on high alert, how were they able to carry this out? Sophisticated, well-trained, well-coordinated, and go undetected?
Yeah. So I think what we're going to learn, we don't know yet, but I think what we're going to learn is that they use these encrypted apps, right? Commercial encryption, which is very difficult, if not impossible, for governments to break. And the producers of this encryption do not produce the key, right, for either them to open this stuff up or for them to give to governments to open this stuff up. This is a result of Edward Snowden and the public debate. I now think we're going to have another public debate about encryption and whether the government should have access to the keys. And the result may be different this time, given what's happened in Paris.
Michael Morell, thank you so much.